Have you ever felt like you spent your entire life chasing something, only to find that the harder you run, the further it stays away from you? Meet Ravi. He is a young man who has spent his energy trying to capture success. But today, he sits by the water with a heavy heart. His hands are scarred from the struggle, and his reflection in the water shows a man who no longer recognizes the spark in his own tired eyes. He remembers the years spent running after the butterflies of fame and recognition, believing that catching them would finally bring him the peace he truly desired. But every time his fingers brushed against their wings, they would flutter higher into the sky, leaving him empty-handed and gasping for breath on the ground. He tried to please everyone, seeking approval in every corner. Yet the more he gave, the more people seemed to expect, leaving his spirit drained and lonely. The chase had become a hollow habit, a cycle of pursuit and disappointment that left him with nothing but a void where his dreams used to live. He realized he had nothing to show for his journey. No true happiness, no deep connections, only the hollow echo of his own frantic footsteps on dirt. Is this all there is to life? He wondered. Is the world just a series of things to be caught, only to watch them die in your grip? With a sigh that carried the weight of 1,000 failures, Ravi decided to walk one last path, towards a light he had ignored for far too long. He stumbled upon a hidden corner of the village where a garden bloomed with such intensity that the air itself felt sweet and thick with floral honey. There stood an old gardener, his movements slow and rhythmic, his face a map of peaceful lines as he cared for his plants with absolute devotion. Unlike Ravi's world, this garden was alive with the very things he had been chasing. Butterflies danced in the air, landing softly on the gardener's weathered hands. Ravi stood frozen at the fence, mesmerized by the sight of such effortless beauty. It was everything he had ever wanted, existing right here, in silence. The old man noticed the stranger in the shadows. He didn't offer a lecture, only a warm, welcoming smile that seemed to understand Ravi's entire exhausted history. While Ravi had been running, this man had been standing still. While Ravi had been shouting for attention, this man had been listening to the soil speak. The gardener knew a secret that Ravi had never learned. You cannot force a flower to bloom, and you cannot force the world to love you back. He felt a strange calm wash over him. The frantic energy that had driven him for years began to settle like dust after a heavy rain shower. With a voice cracked by emotion, Ravi asked, "Master, how do you find such peace? How do the butterflies find you when I have failed to catch even one?" The gardener chuckled softly, a sound like dry leaves rustling. "Sit down, young man," he said. "Let me tell you about the goat and the grass." Imagine a man who wants a goat. He spends all day chasing it with a handful of dry hay. But the goat is fast and always runs away. He runs until his lungs burn and his feet bleed. But the goat remains a distant shadow, mocking his every effort to control its wild spirit. One day, he stops. He realizes the chase is futile. He puts down his ego and starts to dig, turning the hard soil into something new. He plants seeds. He waters the ground. He waits with patience. Soon, a vibrant meadow of emerald grass begins to wave in the gentle summer breeze. And then, the magic happens. The goat, smelling the fresh green life, walks down from the hill and begins to eat. Choosing to stay by his side, the gardener looked at Ravi and said, "Your life is that hill, and your desires are the goat. You have been chasing what you should be attracting. Success, love, and happiness are like butterflies. If you chase them, they fly away. But if you build a beautiful garden, they will come to you. Stop looking for the things you want outside of yourself. Start looking at the soil of your own soul. What have you planted there lately, my son? For too long, your inner garden has been filled with the weeds of envy and the thorns of resentment, leaving no room for beauty to grow. Take these seeds of intention. Go home, and instead of running after the world, spend your time making your own life a place worth visiting." Ravi left the garden that night, not with a trophy or a captured butterfly, but with a plan that would change the very fabric of his existence. He began with the simple things. He cleaned his home, not to impress neighbors, but to create a sanctuary where his own mind could finally find rest. He started to read, feeding his mind with the wisdom of the ages, replacing his thirst for fame with a hunger for true knowledge and understanding. Every morning, he sat in silence. He learned to watch his thoughts like clouds passing by, no longer controlled by the winds of his own restless desires. The work was difficult. He had to pull out the deep roots of anger and the stubborn weeds of comparison that had choked his heart for years. In their place, he planted the seeds of gratitude. He began to appreciate the small things, the cool water, the warm sun, and the breath in his lungs. He dedicated himself to his craft. He didn't work for the money or the praise. He worked to express the excellence he had discovered within himself. Slowly, the gray world he once lived in began to transform. His skin glowed with health, and his eyes held a depth that only comes from peace. He started to give to others, but this time, it was from a place of abundance. He helped because he had plenty of love to share, not to buy favor. His inner garden was starting to bloom. It wasn't an overnight miracle, but the result of daily care, patience, and a refusal to chase the old ghosts. He looked in the water once more. The man looking back was no longer a stranger. He was a friend, a soul he had finally learned to love. Building a garden is the art of becoming enough. When you are enough for yourself, the whole world begins to change its tune toward you. Months passed, and the man who once ran after shadows became a beacon of light. His presence carried a weight that words could never describe. People began to notice. They didn't come because he asked them to. They came because they felt better just by being in his peaceful presence. Opportunities he had once begged for started to arrive on his doorstep. The world was finally offering him what it had previously withheld from his grasp. And then, in a moment of perfect synchronicity, the thing he had spent his youth chasing finally returned to him on its own terms and timing. The butterfly didn't fear him. It landed on his shoulder as if it belonged there, drawn to the fragrance of the garden he had built inside. He didn't reach out to trap it. He didn't try to pin it down. He simply allowed it to exist, enjoying the beauty of the moment without the need for ownership. His life had become the meadow. His soul had become the nectar. He had mastered the art of attraction by simply becoming the best version of himself. He looked at the dusty path he once traveled with such desperation. He saw others still running, still shouting, still trying to catch the wind with their bare hands. He felt no pride, only a deep sense of compassion. He knew their pain, their fatigue, and the emptiness that comes from chasing what cannot be caught. He called out to them, not to brag, but to offer a seat and a glass of water. He became the new gardener for a new generation. The secret was no longer a secret. It was a living reality. Don't chase the world. Make yourself into a world that others want to be a part of. Years later, Ravi sat with his mentor. 2 generations of gardeners, watching the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of purple and gold. The old man turned to him and whispered, "You have done well. Your garden is beautiful. The butterflies will never leave you now, for they are home." Every flower that blooms is a testament to a day you didn't give up on yourself. Every butterfly is a gift for your patience and your grace. So ask yourself today, are you still running? Or are you finally ready to pick up the spade and start the work of your own soul's garden? Do not fear the time it takes. The best gardens are those grown with years of love. Start small, but start today, for your own sake. When the world sees your light, it will come to find you. You are the garden, you are the flower, and you are the source of your own joy. Don't spend your life chasing butterflies. Spend it growing a garden and let the beauty come to you. Thank you for listening to this sacred journey.